Do you dare to witness the confrontation where just a moment's difference is enough to decide life? Venom. Persistence and biological advantages go head-to-head with power, speed, and peak predatory experience. Right now, you will discover 30 life-and-death battles between venomous snakes and top-tier predators. Bone-chilling moments captured from the harshest nature. Let's get started now. The hunting instinct of the king cobra. The king cobra is the longest and most dangerous venomous snake on Earth. They dominate the rainforest with a potent neurotoxin that paralyzes and kills prey within minutes. What makes this species different is that they specialize in hunting and eating other snakes, even their own kind. Silent, ruthless, and unstoppable, that is the true king of the reptile world. In a dense forest corner, a young king cobra quietly follows the scent of prey. But a larger individual suddenly approaches. Without hesitation, the bigger cobra lunges forward and bites directly into the smaller one's head. The venom spreads quickly. The young snake convulses violently before going still. Just minutes later, it lies completely motionless. The larger snake slowly opens its jaws and swallows its own kind whole. Even a ruler can become a meal at any moment. That is the brutal nature of the wild. Two king cobras of similar size facing each other always creates a unique tension. Raising their bodies high and holding their heads steady is their way of assessing dominance. The fight begins instantly. A strike to the head is no coincidence. It's the weak point where venom works fastest. When one falls, the other swallows its opponent. In the snake world, victory is never loud. It's simply the right to keep living. Two massive king cobras clash deep in the forest. Both rear up tall hoods flared wide in intimidation. They coil, tightly wrestle, and try to force each other to the ground in a no-retreat battle. It is a contest of strength, will, and survival instinct. In such duels, only one is allowed to continue living. Deep in the forest, a king cobra returns to its den after feeding. Behind it, a larger predator silently follows, eyes gleaming. The moment the smaller one enters the den, the attacker strikes like lightning, biting straight into its head. Venom surges, the smaller snake's body trembles weakly before going limp. The victor drags the corpse out and slowly swallows the prey, reaffirming its ruthless throne. On the tree canopy, a rat snake quietly slithers along. Suddenly, a king cobra launches like a bolt of lightning, striking precisely at the head. Neurotoxic venom spreads fast. The rat snake writhes and coils in defense, but it's useless. Within seconds, its body softens and becomes completely still. The king cobra calmly opens its jaws and swallows its prey with cold precision. Deep in the forest, a small snake faces a massive king cobra. Knowing it cannot win, it still bravely raises its body, spreads its hood, and growls in warning. That brief defiance makes the predator pause for a second. Seizing the moment, the smaller snake darts into the bushes and disappears instantly. In the harsh wilderness, sometimes courage is the only way the weak survive. King cobra versus mongoose. The small mongoose is a terrifying nemesis of venomous snakes. It treats deadly snakes almost like toys. With extreme agility and lightning reflexes far surpassing a snake's, it is the true roadblock of the reptile world. Thanks to natural venom resistance, it is nearly immune to toxins. In many encounters, the mongoose is always the opponent snakes must fear. On the open ground, the mongoose and the king cobra confront each other. The snake rises high, hood flared wide in intimidation, but the mongoose stands confident against this deadly enemy. A breathless silence passes, then the king cobra lunges and lands a bite. Venom floods in, and the mongoose flees in, pain defeated. This time, the king keeps his throne. But the eternal rivalry between these sworn enemies will never end. On cracked dry soil, the mongoose and the king cobra clash once more. The mongoose dances dodging strikes, counterbiting non-stop until the snake tires. Blood spills, both are torn, but the mongoose keeps attacking relentlessly. Finally, the king cobra gasps for breath, abandons the fight, and retreats in defeat. The mongoose stands firm, fur-bristling victory, belonging to the small but unbreakable warrior. In a new battle, the mongoose charges first, dodging like the wind. It circles leaps and repeatedly bites straight at the king cobra's head. The massive snake thrashes its hood, collapsing as strength fades. Eventually, the snake's body crashes to the ground, motionless. The small mongoose stands proudly over its fallen enemy, proving that even the small can dethrone the Snake King. In the middle of a barren land, two eternal rivals, the mongoose and the king cobra, face each other. The mongoose attacks with relentless aggression. The king cobra suddenly strikes with a swift movement, unleashing a series of venomous attacks. However, the mongoose's resilience and unwavering determination gradually force even the king of snakes to give in a decisive victory when the stronger one has no choice but to concede everything. Another fateful duel. From the very beginning, the mongoose attacks without a hint of fear. It dodges the strikes of the white king cobra with lightning speed and continuously targets the most critical weak point, its head. Within minutes, the deadliest predator collapses. A small but merciless victory. This battle belongs to the tiny creature. It is proof of their astonishing survival instinct. In the middle of a dry, barren land, the king cobra is surrounded by a troop of small but fearless mongooses. They form a curved formation, never taking their eyes off the venomous predator. The king cobra lunges forward, striking as fast as lightning, but the mongooses slip aside, dodging every attack in a split second. Every strike lands on empty air. Mongooses possess a special immune system and incredibly fast reflexes. Their small, flexible bodies allow them to move in an unpredictable, circular pattern. After a few tense minutes, the king cobra slithers away in fear an overwhelming victory for the mongooses. Python versus indigo snake. Beneath the base of a large tree, an indigo snake detects a juvenile python slowly slithering under a thin layer of sand. It pauses briefly, observing with lightning speed, then suddenly lunges forward. In a single motion, the indigo snake locks onto the front section of its opponent's body.
With his powerful jaws.
This species is notorious for preying on other snakes, even larger individuals, thanks to its extremely fast reflexes and precise control.
Until the python's energy resources.
The young python barely has time to struggle. Once the head is controlled, all resistance becomes meaningless. The hunt ends cleanly. In nature, the one who exploits opportunity better is the one who survives. Python versus Komodo. A rare piece of footage capturing a confrontation between two giant reptiles. Each tightening coil crushes down, leaving the Komodo dragon with almost no space to move. In desperation, the Komodo twists its head back, biting repeatedly into the snake's body, flesh tearing open, yet the coils remain firm. The python does not kill with biting force, but by suffocation. Each exhale from the victim increases the pressure. The more the Komodo struggles, the stronger the constriction becomes. After only a few minutes, its lungs are locked shut. The body softens, motionless within the cold coils of the python. Python versus leopard. Along a quiet riverbank, a leopard comes face to face with a large python slowly sliding across wet mud.
So close to the snake.
Both remain almost still, moving in small increments, probing each other's reactions. The leopard begins with short, testing touches, just enough to gauge reflexes.
Listen to the clues. Is that the lip?
When an opening appears, the leopard attacks instantly. It clamps onto the soft neck area and pins it firmly to the ground.
He's got it.
The bite paralyzes the python, dragging it away from the riverbank. This time, the leopard faces a python far larger than any opponent it has encountered before. Unlike its usual hunts, it does not rush. The leopard keeps its distance, moving slowly, throwing feints while tracking every subtle movement of the opponent. Instinct warns that a single constriction from a python, a species capable of crushing antelope bones, would be enough to end everything. Both stand locked in tension, every step carefully calculated. And then, neither side chooses to take the risk. The confrontation ends in silence. In the suffocating standoff, the python repeatedly lunges its body forward, but the leopard escapes by a hair's breadth each time. With reflexes under 0.2 seconds, faster than most terrestrial predators, it narrowly avoids the lethal coils. When the python begins to slow, the leopard seizes the moment and lunges in, biting precisely at the weak point just behind the head. Under the leopard's bite force, the python no longer has the strength to constrict its opponent. Python versus crocodile. Beneath murky water, The python and crocodile come face to face. Two representatives of extreme bite force and extreme constriction. The python strikes quickly at the crocodile, but immediately the crocodile counters with a direct bite to the python's head. But today, the python has chosen the wrong opponent. The crocodile's skin is covered in thick, bony scutes that significantly reduce constricting force and render the python's bites almost ineffective. Fortunately, the crocodile only issues a warning. It quickly releases its jaws, leaving the python an escape route. Python vs. hyena. A hyena approaches a python coiled on the ground, repeatedly moving in and backing off, throwing probing feints to find an opening. It bites quickly and withdraws immediately, forcing the python to rotate defensively. Both wait for the other to make a mistake. When the hyena loses focus, it is instantly attacked. Pythons often do not constrict immediately. They conserve strength, waiting for the prey to tire and its heartbeat to become erratic. It gradually swallows the prey, ending the battle in silence. Python versus impala. An impala becomes stranded in an open area, surrounded on all sides by a river. It hesitates, searching for a way up the bank. But beneath the murky water, crocodiles and a python have already recognized the opportunity. A crocodile suddenly surfaces, forcing the impala to leap across the narrow stretch of water. Impala can leap over 3 meters high to escape danger in an instant, but a strike from below catches its leg, causing it to stumble. Just as it reaches the bank, the python seizes the moment, biting down and tightening its coils, closing the tragedy of survival. This time, a young impala accidentally draws the attention of two different predators, a python and a hyena.
Beautiful in the sunlight.
The python moves in close, slowly wrapping muscular coils around the prey's body. Each constriction weakens breathing, blood no longer reaching the brain. The impala quickly fades and becomes motionless.
Look, he's just big hearts.
The python does not use venom. It kills with pressure, enough to stop the heart and lungs.
Right.
When the python withdraws, the hyena is already waiting. No chase is needed. It simply takes what remains. In nature, patience is sometimes the greatest advantage. Python versus goat. An unlucky goat encounters a massive predator, a python many times larger than its body. The python does not need to constrict continuously, only maintain enough pressure to cut off blood circulation to the brain. When swallowing begins, the python's lower jaw separates on both sides thanks to elastic ligaments, allowing it to open several times wider than its head. Its body stretches with each swallowing motion. A meal this large can keep a python fed for weeks, even over a month, without needing to hunt again. Python versus kookaburra. On a high tree branch, a young python is unfortunate enough to encounter a master small predator. The kookaburra is a carnivorous bird specialized in hunting young snakes, with a beak strong enough to kill prey in just a few strikes. It uses its extremely powerful neck muscles to repeatedly slam the python's body against the ground, aiming to break the spine and disable the prey. When a python is still too small, its constricting ability is nearly useless against such precise attacks. Python versus dog. A dog is locked tightly by the python, thick coils layered over one another with steady pressure. Pythons can sense the heartbeat of their prey through body vibrations. Only when the heartbeat slows do they increase constriction to conserve energy. The prey struggles in vain. The python's extremely durable and smooth keratin scales disperse bite force, making the dog's bites almost incapable of causing damage. When the pressure becomes sufficient, even a struggling body can no longer break free. Python vs. tiger. At the edge of dense jungle, a tiger and a python meet in an unavoidable situation. The tiger strikes first, a powerful bite stunning the python, its body nearly losing control in the first moments. A python's body consists of hundreds of muscle bundles operating independently, allowing it to rapidly restore constricting force even after being attacked. When the tiger begins to tire, the python immediately wraps its entire body. Constricting pressure rises to its maximum. With just a few coils applied in the right positions, even an apex predator collapses. Python versus jackal, honey badger. This time, the python encounters a smaller but extremely troublesome opponent. The honey badger's thick, loose, elastic skin absorbs nearly all pressure, whether bitten or constricted. The honey badger remains unharmed. A jackal waits nearby. They want to steal the kill, but this time both opponents are dangerous.
Guys, this is the best sight ever.
Two African wild dogs move in, biting and tugging at the python's body, harassing continuously, but they dare not commit. They understand that approaching either of these opponents would put them at a disadvantage. After several tense seconds, the jackals gradually give up. The honey badger drags the python's carcass into the bushes. Owl versus pigeon. The owl and the pigeon live together inside the same cramped nesting cavity. And everything begins when the owl brings prey back to the nest. The pigeon repeatedly flaps its wings at the chick, seemingly trying to seize a share of the food. For the owl, this is no misunderstanding. It immediately lunges forward, using its talons and curved beak to launch a direct attack. Owls have an extreme instinct to defend their nests, especially when prey and chicks are present. Their superior night vision allows them to strike with precision even in chaotic, confined spaces. After a few moments of resistance, the pigeon is forced to flee, leaving both the nest and the food entirely to the predator. Owl versus hawk. A hawk temporarily occupies the owl's nest while the owner is away, standing still as if surveying the territory, but it quickly tries to escape when the rightful owner returns. The hawk suddenly bursts out from a blind corner, launching a surprise attack within the tight space. Despite being ambushed, the owl retaliates fiercely, using its wings and talons to push the intruder out of the nest. But the hawk does not retreat easily. It immediately circles back, accelerates, and attacks again. The powerful collision nearly knocks the owl off the edge of the nest. Sparrowhawk versus magpie. The sparrowhawk pins a feral pigeon beneath its feet, talons locking the prey's body, leaving it nearly motionless. At that moment, two magpies appear, repeatedly closing in and calling loudly to harass the predator. This is a familiar mobbing behavior, where smaller birds cooperate to pressure a predator into leaving. The sparrowhawk does not counterattack, instead shielding its prey and issuing threats. The crushing grip of its talons is enough to quickly paralyze the prey, allowing it to wait for a safe moment to finish the kill. Hawk versus crow. A hawk strays into crow territory and is surrounded by a low circling formation of crows. Each time the hawk turns or lunges to threaten, the crows immediately spread out and then close in again, forcing it to remain constantly alert. Hawks possess extremely powerful talons, and a single successful grab could seriously injure or kill a crow.
With the possibility of injury.
Instead, the crows choose a safer strategy, maintaining distance and applying psychological pressure. Crows have excellent memory and understand the risk. They know the goal is not to kill the hawk, but to drive it out of the area. Eagle versus vulture. A rare scene of conflict unfolds as vultures are busy tearing at a carcass. An eagle appears from a distance and simply watches, patiently waiting for the right moment. As soon as the vultures spread out, the eagle dives in and claims the remaining food. But only minutes later, a vulture returns and directly attacks the thief. Although it does not strike forcefully, the vulture's size and massive wingspan are enough to make the eagle cautious. The predator is forced to retreat to avoid injury. Eagle versus cobra. Cobra and eagle, both notorious predators within their own domains. The brown eagle tries to close in, even managing to grab the cobra's tail, but each time the cobra counterattacks. The eagle spreads its wings threateningly, attacking while remaining cautious. It wants this prey badly, but the opponent is far from easy to subdue. Cobras possess neurotoxic venom capable of paralyzing the respiratory system in a short time, forcing even birds of prey to remain wary. The snake repeatedly hisses, maintaining an aggressive defensive posture. After several failed attempts, the eagle is forced to fly away to preserve its life.
Yeah, he's gone.
Heron versus squirrel. On a high rocky ledge, a heron stands motionless, its yellow eyes locked onto a squirrel busy gnawing below. Its long neck and specialized neck muscles allow it to deliver a precise strike in an instant, almost without warning.
A crucial role in ecosystems by controlling small mammal populations, which in turn reduce.
The stab shoots down like lightning, pulling the prey off the ground.
Before eating it, and the behavior is most often seen in species with high cognitive ability. Animals like herons play a crucial role in the food web by controlling.
Herons often hold prey for quite some time to adjust its orientation, because their digestive system only allows them to swallow prey whole from head to tail, preventing bones and limbs from lodging in the throat. Heron versus gopher. The great blue heron moves silently, nearly blending into the surroundings. It waits patiently, without a single wasted motion. Great blue herons can stand motionless for minutes at a time, because their prey is extremely sensitive to vibrations and moving shadows. When the gopher exposes itself, the attack finally comes. The long beak shoots forward like a flash, impaling the prey before it can react. Strike speed and precision are the keys to survival for herons. Lesser black-backed gull versus feral pigeon. The lesser black-backed gull walks along the edge of a pond, observing in silence. It suddenly lunges when the feral pigeon lets its guard down, forcing the prey straight into the water. The attack takes place right in the pond, where the pigeon has almost no ability to resist. The gull repeatedly pecks at the head and neck, pinning and submerging the prey. Many large gull species exploit water to exhaust their prey. As pigeons are poorly adapted to struggling while wet and deprived of air. Within a short time, resistance fades, and the hunt ends where it began. Seagull versus rabbit. The seagull stands motionless on the ground, watching for a long time as if calculating or waiting for something. The rabbit is fairly large, but the gull quickly drags it out of its burrow. Seagulls have highly expandable esophagi and jaw joints that can open wider than normal, allowing them to consume prey much larger than their mouths. This shows that for predatory birds, the ability to process food efficiently can be just as important as raw strength. Goose versus baboon. A baboon spots a group of geese with a stray gosling and immediately charges in with the intent to snatch it. The mother goose reacts violently, spreading her wings, stretching her neck, and threatening the attacker. For many smaller predators, this kind of defense would be enough to make them back off. But the baboon is different. Despite being attacked, it closes in, using its agile hands to grab the gosling and retreat. Its thick fur and head avoidance reflexes significantly reduce damage from pecking. This proves that a predator does not always need fangs sometimes. It only needs the right decision at the right moment.
The parents try to locate any signal.
Goshawk vs. goshawk. At Garton Lake, inside a single goshawk nest, two chicks face each other in a cramped space. There is no predator and no external threat. The larger chick repeatedly pecks at the head and neck of the smaller one with short, decisive strikes. This phenomenon is known as siblicide, where siblings kill one another in the nest. In large birds of prey, siblicide allows the stronger individual to monopolize all food resources, increasing its chance of survival. The parents usually do not intervene because, in nature, raising one strong chick is more efficient than raising two weak ones. Cuckoo versus baby bird. A cuckoo lingers around a small bird's nest, constantly searching for food but finding nothing. After a while, the mother bird returns, placing two chicks into the nest before leaving again to forage. But the predator's silhouette appears the moment it hears the chick's calls. The helpless chicks believe their mother has returned and open their mouths, waiting to be fed. A direct attack follows. The two chicks have no ability to resist and quickly become a meal for the reckless predator. Wolves versus bear. While the wolf pack is still sharing its food, the sudden appearance of a bear changes the entire situation. The bear charges in immediately, using its size and powerful swipes to apply psychological pressure. The wolves respond by growling and circling, but they clearly understand that a direct confrontation is a disadvantage. Short, close-range approaches are only probing moves, not enough to force the bear to retreat. Facing the risk of serious injury, the wolf pack is forced to abandon the food and withdraw. For the bear, this is not a hunt, but a victory through absolute dominance. This time, the situation reverses as the wolf pack returns and quickly takes control of the space surrounding the bear. Instead of rushing in to bite, they form a wide encirclement, constantly moving and growling to apply psychological pressure. The wolves understand that their strength does not lie in individuals, but in coordination and the ability to unnerve the opponent. when it realizes the risk it is facing. The bear chooses to retreat. This confrontation shows that pack advantage can sometimes be enough to drive away a stronger foe. The tragedy repeats when the bear appears with a new kill. And this time, the wolf pack arrives in greater numbers. But unlike before, the bear does not back down. It stays close to the prey, rises up, roars loudly, and prepares to counter every angle of approach. The ferocity in the bear's eyes makes every attempt by the wolves extremely risky. The wolves know that a single well-placed swipe could break bones or cause severe injury. When pressure is no longer effective, the pack is forced to retreat. In nature, the determination to protect a vital resource can sometimes turn a solitary animal into an impenetrable wall. Wolves versus sheep. The wolf pack patiently waits until night falls, the moment when they have an absolute advantage. With vision well adapted to darkness and strong group coordination, they suddenly charge into the sheep pen. Each wolf takes on a separate target. Wolves often choose to attack sheep at night because they have little defensive ability, move slowly, and panic easily when pressured. Sheep allow wolves to expend little energy while gaining a large amount of food in a short time. Wolves versus rabbit. The wolf pups are hungry. They need their mother's milk. And this is when the adult wolves are forced to replenish their energy. When they spot a rabbit, the entire pack immediately gives chase. The small prey constantly changes direction, running in fast zigzags, causing the wolves to repeatedly lose momentum and their advantage. Rabbits rely on explosive speed and sudden directional changes to escape, while wolves are not the fastest predators over short distances. But the true advantage of wolves lies in endurance and group hunting. As the prey grows tired, the pack's success rate increases significantly. Wolves versus puma. The wolf pack follows the scent of fresh meat carried in the air and quickly encounters a puma guarding its kill. As soon as it is approached, the puma counterattacks violently with fast, precise swipes, forcing the wolves to retreat. However, they do not give up. One by one, the wolves return, constantly harassing and forcing the puma to expend energy. Each attack requires the puma to remain on high alert. After many rounds of confrontation, realizing that the risk is increasing and it can no longer protect the kill, the puma abandons the food to the latecomers. Wolves versus elk. The elk herd is migrating across the grassland when it suddenly detects the wolf pack appearing in the distance. As the distance closes, the two sides quickly come face to face in a state of tension. The wolves immediately spread out their formation, moving strategically to surround and split the tightly packed elk herd. Some groups of elk are separated from the main herd, forcing the wolves to divide into smaller groups to approach from multiple directions. However, under increasing pressure, the elk panic and accelerate into a chaotic escape. The elk herd gradually breaks apart, leaving only isolated individuals being relentlessly pursued by the wolves. One elk quickly recognizes the environmental advantage and charges straight into a nearby body of water. From the shore, the wolves can only watch the prey at very close range, but are unable to approach. The timely decision allows the elk to escape the encirclement by a narrow margin. Wolves versus caribou. A lone wolf charges straight into a moving caribou herd, creating pressure that disrupts the formation and forces weaker individuals to separate. For wolves, strong and experienced individuals are fully capable of hunting alone without relying on the pack. It quickly selects a target, a caribou that has strayed from the herd. Instead of biting wildly, the wolf focuses attacks on the legs to unbalance the prey, then shifts to the neck to restrict breathing. Gradually weakened by pain and oxygen deprivation, the caribou staggers and collapses, ending the calculated pursuit. Wolves versus moose. The moose, fiercely pursued by the wolf, is forced to charge straight into the water in search of escape. Without hesitation, the wolf takes the risk and jumps in as well, attempting to close in and bite the legs to unbalance the prey. But in the water, the wolf's movement is clearly restricted, with biting force and grip significantly reduced. The moose takes advantage of its large body and the push of the water, thrashing violently and gradually breaking free. It runs toward deeper water, a wise decision. When the water becomes too deep and dangerous, the wolf is forced to stop, turn back to shore, and accept defeat. Wolves versus eagle. From a great height, the giant eagle locks onto its target with vision many times sharper than that of humans. With a single vertical dive at extreme speed, it uses hook-like talons to pin the wolf's back and neck. Thanks to the automatic locking tendon structure in its feet, the prey is firmly restrained and loses the ability to resist. With wide wings and powerful lift, it hoists the wolf off the ground, carrying the unfortunate victim into the air in despair. Wolves versus bison. In the icy river, the bison herd slowly crosses in a loose formation. The wolves quickly target the weakest calf. A perfect hunting plan focused on the young. They silently follow and pull the calf into a concealed corner. The young bison is still weak and almost unable to resist. But the calf's cries cause the mother bison to quickly turn back. When it realizes its offspring is under attack, it immediately charges forward, threatening the predators and protecting its vulnerable young. This time, when encountering them on land, the wolf pack is forced to completely change its hunting strategy. Instead of a direct attack, they collectively create chaos, constantly closing in and pressuring the herd to force the bison into a panicked scatter. Wolves do not need to be faster than their prey. They only need to be more enduring. With remarkable stamina, the pack relentlessly follows for kilometers, waiting for the weakest individual to slow down. In the chaos, the bison lose their formation advantage, and young, old, or exhausted individuals are gradually left behind. A mistaken charge from a bison behind makes everything easier. The entire pack immediately charges in, focusing bites on the legs and flanks to bring the prey down. This time, the bison once again crosses the river with its calf. The strong current separates the calf in just a moment. The calf loses rhythm, is swept away from its mother, and drifts onto an open bank where danger is already waiting. The wolf charges in recklessly. It repeatedly directs attacks toward the neck and shoulders, areas that can unbalance the prey and cut off resistance. This is a familiar tactic when wolves hunt. But at that moment, the mother bison turns back. Just the presence of the massive body and keratin horns harder than even a lion's bones is enough to make the wolf hesitate. It immediately veers aside, abandoning the hunt just as victory was within reach. Black yak versus white yak. On the frozen Tibetan plateau, 2 yaks, 1 black, 1 white face off in cutting cold winds. The white yak carries a thicker fat layer, better suited for milder cold, but less effective in direct physical collisions. The black yak, born into harsher climates, has denser muscles and a stronger skeletal frame, allowing it to absorb force better during prolonged headbutting clashes. This confrontation is not just about territory, but a reflection of evolutionary law. In nature, adaptability is what determines who stands last. Bison versus bison. On the vast grasslands, 2 male bison square off, horns raised and muscles fully tensed. For them, this is not merely a test of strength, but a contest of dominance within the herd. Bison can weigh over 900 kilograms and use their entire body mass when charging, distributing impact force to reduce injury. They maintain constant pressure, forcing their opponent to expose weakness. When one breaks a leg and withdraws, it is not defeat. but a survival choice. In nature, knowing when to stop is also a form of victory. Antelope versus African wild dogs. An antelope risks a desperate dash across muddy water, only to be intercepted by a pack of African wild dogs. They possess a hunting success rate nearing 80%, among the highest on the savanna. But today, the balance shifts quickly when hyenas arrive in overwhelming numbers. The antelope fights back in desperation, but powerful bites and relentless pursuit drain its strength. Dragged onto the bank, the prey becomes the center of a chaotic feast. In nature, the most persistent sometimes reclaim dominance. African wild dogs versus buck. A male buck is detected by a pack of wild dogs right at the water's edge. It lowers its horns, holding distance as the pack fans out, tightening the encirclement. With a charge powerful enough to break a wild dog's bones, the buck is a dangerous target, forcing the pack to rely on harassment rather than direct attack. But its defensive position near the bank turns into a fatal trap. A crocodile suddenly erupts from beneath the water, clamping onto the body in an instant, ending the hunt in an unexpected way. African wild dogs versus wildebeest. A pack of wild dogs surrounds a lone wildebeest, closing in from multiple angles to block all escape routes. On the savanna, once surrounded by wild dogs, a separated wildebeest's survival odds are extremely low. The prey relies on horns and speed to fight back, but constant harassment rapidly exhausts it. Eventually, the wildebeest collapses, revealing the terrifying power of collective persistence. But in nature, such advantage is never guaranteed. Cobra versus rat snake. On a bed of dry leaves, a rat snake moves slowly, completely unaware of the approaching threat. A bite aimed directly at the head disables resistance instantly. Neurotoxic venom spreads, disrupting signals between brain and muscles. The rat snake attempts to constrict in desperation, but its strength fades rapidly. For the king cobra, targeting the head reduces injury risk when swallowing live prey. Within moments, the prey lies completely motionless. The predator calmly consumes its prize, a testament to the precision and efficiency of the apex venomous hunter. Cobra versus mongoose. On sun-cracked ground, a mongoose faces a king cobra head-on. The mongoose moves constantly, leaping sideways to evade lethal strikes. counterattacking with fast, precise bites. Both are masters of defense, rarely exposing weaknesses. However, the mongoose possesses partial resistance to snake venom, allowing it to sustain pressure longer. After several tense minutes, the cobra tires and retreats. Victory belongs to the smaller but relentless fighter, where endurance overcomes raw power. Leopard versus warthog. A new leopard hunt begins at the mouth of a warthog burrow. It presses low to the ground, patiently waiting for the prey to emerge at close range. Leopards have one of the highest success rates in short-range ambushes, especially in confined spaces where prey cannot maneuver easily. When the warthog counters with tusks and powerful thrusts, the leopard shifts its body angle to neutralize the charge. After minutes of struggle, the warthog collapses, and victory belongs to the one who controls position and timing. Puma vs. guanaco. The puma boldly clamps onto the guanaco's neck, enduring violent thrashing in exchange for a single decisive chance. The guanaco twists violently, attempting to throw the predator off, each jerk nearly lifting the puma from the ground. The puma climbs higher, driving its jaws deeper into the neck, cutting off strength. As the guanaco tires, its legs weaken and its body tilts with momentum. The clash ends with the predator's cold and ruthless instinct. On grassy mountain slopes, a puma tracks a guanaco, hoping to end a prolonged hunger streak. But this is not easy prey. Guanacos possess long, flexible necks that deliver powerful counter throws when approached. Each time the puma leaps, the guanaco's weight and force slam it back to the ground. Repeated counterattacks risk injury, forcing the puma to withdraw. In nature, survival itself can be the most costly lesson. Snow leopard versus markhor. The snow leopard stalks a markhor along a steep rocky slope, each step concealed by fur blending perfectly with mountain stone. It pursues closely, constantly changing direction, using its long tail to maintain balance on dangerous terrain. The tail can be nearly as long as the body, acting like a rudder during leaps across narrow ledges.
Silently, she positions us.
When detected, the markhor charges across narrow rock shelves with its renowned climbing skill. cloven hooves gripping nearly vertical surfaces. But when the markhor suddenly plunges into the river below, the snow leopard halts. For this big cat, deep cold water is a boundary rarely crossed. Snow leopard versus mountain goat. The snow leopard closes in from behind and bites the mountain goat, but the prey breaks free and charges uphill. The chase unfolds across sheer ledges, where every step can determine survival. Mountain goats possess cloven hooves and thick padded soles, increasing friction and balance on slick rock. But while shifting footing near the cliff edge, it slips and plunges into the abyss. The snow leopard descends along the rock face, finishes the kill, and begins feeding. Jaguar versus anaconda. Along a mud-lined riverbank, a jaguar hunts silently near dark water. Beneath the surface, the anaconda lies submerged, revealing only faint movement. With its ability to constrict and halt circulation, the anaconda is a threat few predators dare confront. The jaguar does not rush. It delivers probing strikes, always maintaining distance to avoid being coiled. After disorienting its opponent, it suddenly bites down on the snake's head, ending the confrontation. The previous confrontations show that in the wild world, no one is invincible. Whether it is a venomous snake with a formidable biological advantage or top-of-the-food-chain predators, everyone must face risks when entering the battle for survival. Nature always maintains a balance through cold but fair laws. If you find this video fascinating, please hit like, leave a comment sharing your impressions, and subscribe to the channel to continue following other dramatic confrontations. Thank you for watching until the end. See you again in the next journey of the challenging natural world.
Seizes one.